Hello programmers. In today's class we are going to look into what is Pandas and why and how to use it. So first of all, let me give you a brief introduction of Pandas and then we'll see the practical of it. It's a package useful for data analysis and manipulation. Pandas provide an easy way to create, manipulate and wrangle the data. That means with the help of this Pandas module, you can create, you can manipulate and wrangle the data. Now what is data wrangling? Data wrangling is sometimes known as data munging. It's a process of transforming and mapping the data from one raw data form into another form with the intent of making it more appropriate and valuable for a variety of downstream purposes such as analytics. That means to process the data and to transform it into a format which can be used for data analysis. So another advantage of using Pandas is Pandas provide powerful and easy to use data structures as well as the means to quickly perform operations on these structures. That means with Pandas module, it has data structures which can be used for performing operation on these data structures, and they are very powerful and easy to use. So it's the most famous Python package for data science, which offer powerful and flexible data structures that make data analysis and manipulation easy. And it's the famous package which is used for data science, and it offers powerful and flexible data structure, as I already told you, so that that will make our data analysis more easy. Now what is data science? Data science is a process of analyzing large set of data points to get answer on questions related to the data set. So it's a process of analyzing large set of data to get the answers of the questions related to that data. Python makes data importing and data analysis much easier. Through Pandas, you can import and analyze the data in a much easier way. So, and it is built on packages like NumPy and Matplotlib to give us a single and convenient place for data analysis and visualization work. That means through Pandas, you can import the data. And for example, you can import data from Excel, you can import data from CSV files and different files. So then you can use these data in one place. And then but you will say if we can import data from Excel and then we can use Pandas to analyze the data, then why we can't use Excel only? Yes, we can use Excel. You can do whatever you can do in Excel, you can do it in Pandas. But there are some problems, there are some limitation with Excel compared to what you can do with the Pandas. Pandas allow you to work with larger data set than the Excel does. That means you can work with big data if you are using Pandas. When you use Excel, it becomes difficult to do data analysis with the large data set, but because it becomes slow and it doesn't have necessary functionality also when you are using Excel. Whereas when you are using Pandas, you'll get more functionality and you can work with large data set. And if you are using Pandas, you can load, you can manipulate the data, you can analyze the data, you can join, you can merge, you can reshape your data. You can take data from different places, as I told you, and you can put it together and then analyze it. So it's very useful, it's very versatile. Now let us see why the data scientists use Pandas. They use Pandas for these advantages. First one is it easily handles the missing data. That means if there is some data which is missing, Pandas will handle it in a much easier way. It uses series for one-dimensional data structure and DataFrame for multi-dimensional data structure. So these are the data structures you can use. Series you can use for one-dimensional data, whereas DataFrame you can use for multi-dimensional data. It provides an efficient way to slice the data. Through this Pandas there are ways you can slice the data, and then it provides a flexible way to merge, concatenate or reshape the data. That's why data scientists use Pandas. Now the data structures in Pandas, let us see what is a data structure. A data structure, it's a way to arrange the data in such a way so it can be accessed quickly and we can perform various operations on the data. Like you can retrieve the data, you can delete the data or modify it. So it's a way to arrange your data. Now Pandas deal with three different data structures. First one is series, second one is DataFrame, and third one is panel. Let us see these structures one by one. First one is series. Series is a one-dimensional array, as I already told you. It's a one-dimensional array-like structure with homogeneous data. That means it will be of same data type, which can be used to handle and manipulate the data. So you can use series to handle this one-dimensional similar type of data. What makes it special is its index attribute. So it has an attribute, the name of that attribute is index, and which has incredible functionality, and it is heavily mutable. So this is one example of series. Here you can see first is index and the second is the data. This is the actual data. Now it has two parts. First one is the data part. It is an array of actual data. In this you can see it's integer, and second one is the associated index with the data. These associated array of indexes, or we can even say the data labels. Now the second data structure is DataFrame. It's a two-dimensional object that is useful in representing data in the form of rows and columns. So that means if you want to represent your data in the form of rows and column, you can use a data frame. It is similar to a spreadsheet or a SQL table. So this is the most commonly used Pandas object. Most of the time we use data frame so that we can access, we can represent our data in rows and columns. So once we store the data into the data frame, we can perform various operations that are useful in analyzing and understanding the data. First of all, let me show you an example of series, and then we'll see what are data frames. Here I am using Jupyter Notebook. The standard Python distribution doesn't come bundled with Pandas. So you can use pip to install Pandas if you are using Python ideally. So it comes by default with Anaconda. So no need to install. So here I am going to import Pandas, and I am using as PD. So now instead of calling a function by using Pandas and then dot, you can directly use PD dot and then you can call your methods. So that's why we are using PD. This is an alias name. Now what I'll do is I'll use maybe S, I'm giving the object name, and here I am giving PD dot the series. This is here we are using series. As you can see is capital, it's the constructor. So here I'll use a list 1 2 3 maybe, and so here we are passing the list as our actual data, and I am taking here index as the second parameter for the series method constructor, and I'm passing here index, and maybe you can give it any name. So there are three data numbers we have passed. So I'll take A, B, C, and so that's all, and then I'll just print this. this is how we can create a series. Now let us see what are data frame. So data frame is a data structure of Pandas. It's a two-dimensional object that is useful in representing data in the form of rows and columns. And it is similar to a spreadsheet or an SQL table. Why? Because in a spreadsheet and SQL tables, you can see the rows and columns. Similarly, when you are using data frame, you can see the data in the form of rows and column only. So this is the most commonly used Pandas object. And once we store the data into a data frame, then we can perform various operations that are useful in analyzing and understanding the data. That means you can perform various functions using that data. Now this is an example of data frame, and this is the structure of data frame. This, as you can see, it is in the form of rows. These are the horizontal ones are the rows and the vertical ones are the columns, and this is the real data, and all the columns have different data type. You can see this, and this is the index of the rows, which is 0, 1 and 2. So this is the index, and this is the column name. The column name is player name, IPL team, base price INCR, and this is the actual data. Now let us see one example of data frame. So first thing is to import pandas as, and then you can give it any alias name. Now here I am using df. What is this df? It is, you can give any name. This is the data frame object. So in this, what I am doing is I am using the pandas module dot read. And what I'm going to do in this example, I'm going to read an Excel file which I have already downloaded from internet, and this Excel file is of COVID-19. So this is the Excel file I'm going to read through my data frame object. And first thing you have to remember is you can keep the Excel file in the same folder where your program is saved, or otherwise you have to pass the complete path, absolute path there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read an Excel. This is the method you can use to read your Excel file, and then pass the name of the file. So as you can see, the Excel file name is COVID. So I am going to pass the name as COVID dot XLSX. So this is the extension of my Excel file. And then what you can do is you can just print df. Let me save it and run it. As you can see, I have read the Excel file. So this is a huge file, and there are 4589 rows. So what I am going to do, I am going to use df.head. So through this, what you can see the top 5 rows. So through this method, as you can see, it's reading top 5 rows when we are using head. It's a very large data set. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use DESCRIBE. So this method will describe the file, and as you can see, this method is describing, it is giving us the count, the mean, the minimum and maximum. So it's displaying the summary, we can say, of the file. So there are a lot of operations you can do with the data frame or the pandas module, and you can use series for one-dimensional data and data frame for the two-dimensional data. So in our coming videos, we are going to see more about the data frame and series. So that's all for today's class. It was just an introduction of pandas, and we have seen 2 examples, one of series and one of data frame. In our next class, we'll see more about data frame. So that's all for today's class. Thank you for watching.